Everybody, welcome back to another Top Builder Hackerstream. This time we're with Shopstr. Shopstr, you guys are building. Where'd y'all come from? Tell us
Yeah,
tell
sounds
us a
good.
bit about y'all's background and where you came from and why you started building Shopstr.
Yeah, so my name's Thomas. I'm building Shopstr alongside Christian, and I'm a recent graduate from Stony Brook University and a ex-Amazonian employee, and I currently work at Liberty Mutual. So yeah, I just got into Nostr in my free time because of Christian. We met at an internship at Salesforce, and we've been building since.
Yeah, and I'm Christian, based out here in Seattle, and a recent graduate from UT Dallas. Currently, I'm working at Amazon, and yeah, previous to that, yeah, same met Thomas back in Seattle and Salesforce like a year or two ago now, I believe, or the year ago,
Yep.
and yeah, got into Bitcoin during my internship at JP Morgan, and like realized like the banking system kind of sucks and really wanted to find a way to exit, and got into Nostr when obviously the infamous Jack tweet like got everyone on like Damus and like checking that out, and realized that we needed a way to openly transact on the internet with no intermediaries and no third parties, and with permissionless money on a permissionless network. And yeah, like that's how the idea of like Nostr, the idea of building on Nostr with Shopstr came about. And yeah, I asked Thomas to see if he was interested in this. And yeah, from what I remember, Thomas was initially like a skeptic of Bitcoin in general, but like as we like
Yeah.
got to this, it built out, and like we realized I orange pilled him to the max. Now he's a big maxi.
Yeah, I'm definitely a believer now, especially since Bitcoin is blowing past 50K. It's kind of crazy, but
So
yeah.
I have a question just real quick. So did you guys ever think about just jumping, like building on Lightning? And, I mean, obviously you're leveraging Lightning and stuff like that now, but like, was that ever a possibility before Nostr, and why or no? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I had, since I got into like Bitcoin, like that's what got me like back into like software development, because initially my major in college was computer engineering, so I really focused more on like hardware, and that's what I wanted to do. But when I started doing it, I didn't like it too much, and when I found Bitcoin, so, like I wanted to contribute to like Bitcoin Core or LND or something, just like be a part of the open source community. And just like getting onboarded felt a little daunting. So like I'd always wanted to contribute to LND. I learned Go just to be able to like contribute to it, like do some stuff. I looked at some like bug fixes and like some of the issues, see what I could contribute. But because of school and other things, like it always got in the way. And I was always just like nervous, I guess, of putting my work out there, especially in with the Bitcoin Core like dev community and everything. Like I know they're hardcore, so just didn't want to like upset anyone with anything, or it was just like I was unsure of how to actually progress in that state. That's why like I feel like Nostr is so powerful, because it was just so simple to get onboarded and like start building on top of it. It's just such a powerful way of like building a site or an app that can just reach so many people and like integrates Lightning natively, which is what I find really cool.
Yeah. And Thomas, for you, same question.
Whether the question was whether I considered building on Lightning, was that?
Yeah.
The
Before, and why Nostr, and other than Christian just forcing you to do it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I sort of had my hands tied here. No, I was kidding. Nostr seemed like a really interesting technology. The way like it's trying to decentralize social media, and I think recently it's been more top of mind, where I'd be on Twitter and there'd be like a crap load of ads that I don't want to see on my timeline, and that would just be like incredibly annoying. But I can't do anything about it, because if I do want the content on Twitter, I have to go on Twitter, and it's completely centralized, and like big dog Elon is controlling all the ads and stuff. So like you can't really do anything. But on Nostr, you're able to go on like Snort, and if you don't like Snort, you can go on Amethyst in order to see all like your favorite creators. And yeah, so it's sort of like that freedom for choice, and how anybody can build on this protocol to sort of like give the best experience to their users, and the users also have that freedom to choose which platform to see like the data on, and the data is all out there, so it's really cool.
That's great. So run us through Shopstr. Where did the idea come from? And yeah, kind of show us around.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
initially, one thing is the fact that Ross Ulbricht, like from the Silk Road, he went to my university, so he's probably the most famous person that went to UT Dallas. And the second most famous person is another like Indian criminal. So he's like a financial criminal. So we have like that track record, I guess, at the school. But yeah, like that initial inspiration, I guess from seeing what Ross was trying to build out. But obviously, like it not ending up in like the way he wanted it to. I kind of initially thought of building like a marketplace platform that was fully open and that couldn't be taken down, couldn't be censored. And that was like the initial idea of like trying to build this out. And it's always seen like talks about like on Nostr from like Vitor or Semisol or NVK about building like a marketplace on Nostr, because like the initial idea of Nostr seemed like it was mainly just going to be for building social apps. And I really wanted to contribute to like the other stuff, which what I believe is like what's most important to growing the protocol. Because at the moment, like social apps, they're very powerful and they're like the glue of like actually getting like attention to Nostr actually coming to the protocol. But because they're not really there's not as much of a path to monetization, at least not as an obvious one as like marketplaces or an exchange or something of that nature. This felt like the best way to actually maybe attract more people to get into the Nostr space, the Bitcoin space, and like grow from there. And another thing was that my dad, he has been a believer in Bitcoin, like the idea of it and like what it could do, but he never wanted to get into it because he sees like money as a means to an end, not as like the thing you want to acquire. So he would always want to have money to buy something. And because like you couldn't really buy anything directly, like one for one with Bitcoin, you usually have to go to like a gift card provider or something of the sort. I was like, hey, might as well like solve the problem for like someone I know, and actually like have a place that he can actually come to and buy stuff with Bitcoin directly. And that was like the initial inspiration, at least from my end.
Yeah, I think when Christian pitched this to me, I thought it would be like a super cool idea. I mean, the reason why Nostr is usually used to like create social media clients, but I think there's enough social media clients. So when he proposed the idea of like a marketplace, I was like, yeah, that sounds like a pretty good way to separate ourselves from like the competition. And it seems like a bit of a blue ocean right now. So there's no real good marketplaces on Nostr. So I was just on board. And I think the idea of being able to create utility for Bitcoin is also a great inspiration, and also why I joined the team, because eBay doesn't accept Bitcoin. Like Facebook Marketplace, you can, but it's not very easy. You just basically are doing it like privately, peer to peer. And Shopstr is sort of like a way to have like a really easy user experience to be able to buy and sell things peer to peer over Bitcoin, which is really cool. So yeah, we're gonna try and push this mission as far as we can. So
that's what I like. That's what the first thing when I talked to y'all, the very first time when I met y'all, just like through that first interview, I remember thinking at the time, I was like, I don't know why, but I feel like you guys are gonna figure out what Christian just said, that hey, my dad wants to use it, but he can't because you have to get through Bitrefill or Bitcoin company or whatever it is, right? Whatever gift card company it is. And you're just like, no, you can just come to Shopstr and use it.
yeah.
And to me, that's just like, that to me, I think is just so simple to say, but probably a lot harder to do. But the fact that you guys are going down this route of like, hey, I'm just let my dad use it. Because imagine like, this is the first iteration of Shopstr, but let's say hypothetically, 2 or 3 years from now, you guys actually have real businesses actually onboarded into Shopstr, all selling their own products, and distributing in a way that looks very similar to Amazon. And all it does is function via, Lightning payments. And next thing you know, like that changes the game considerably. So I would just say like continue down this path of the way y'all are going? Because there's some extra fruit there, I think, and I think that kind of conviction from what you guys described to build it in the first place is really gonna not only resonate with a lot of people, but it's going to guide you in a lot of ways as far as your vision and what you're trying to create. So, good on you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's certainly the game plan. That'd be the dream. So yeah.
So yeah, run us through Shopstr and kind of show us everything, Thomas, and
Sure.
Christian. Feel free to jump in.
Yeah, sounds good. So this is the homepage. This is the place where you'll go when visiting Shopstr.store. So currently, it sort of just looks like a bunch of cards, and each card represents a product that someone has listed. And we're still developing, and people are like still onboarding to the platform right now and trying it out. So there are a lot of test products, but eventually we're gonna have like a private or like a paid relay, or some sort of way to filter out all of these I guess like mock product listings. But there are many real product listings as well, which people have posted over time. And we've also made some or facilitated some sales through Shopstr. Yeah, Christian, do you want to go a little bit into that, like the sales that we have facilitated already?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like probably the biggest one, at least that we're aware of, is Vitor, who's the creator of Amethyst. He actually he was like, I think, one of the first of these public sales that we knew of on Shopstr. He sold like a Pixel phone on the site, and yeah, like he that exact transaction is actually the largest economic transaction done via Cashew, which is what we use to like settle payments. And the Cashew, we chose Cashew because it adds a little bit of like anonymity and simplicity when it actually comes to receiving payments and being able to redeem it and transfer it. Because like sometimes some payments could just be a little unreliable over Lightning, especially like nowadays, like with all the forced closures and everything, like you just never know. And Cashew makes things really simple. And yeah, like we just want to have a way for people to like sign up for the for Shopstr and be able to immediately receive money without having to like set up a wallet or even download another app. And yeah, we're focused on like making it as simple as possible for people to buy and sell things on this thing.
Yep. So I'll continue with showing you guys around. So at the top, we're able to filter on like all the products. So if we want to see only physical, whoops. Let's go back to the Shopstr store.
Oh yeah, you're
I'm currently doing some development, so I tried to show like the new features on localhost, but it seems like there are a couple of bugs that we need to iron out. But no problem. Yeah, so the filtering should work on. Is it gonna work? Okay, so.
Hey, this is building in the open, guys. This is normal.
Yeah, we need to.
Hey, let me tell you, like Keon from Stacker News, he still has bugs, you know. So
yeah, but filtering should work. And if we want to send a message to a user, you're able to by clicking on the product, and then you could click message. Let's see. Yeah, and this is the chats page. So we were working on this like the past week, and you're able to send messages to potential sellers. So that's pretty cool. And you're able to view all of your messages that you've had on any of the other platforms. And a cool thing is that it's responsive. So on mobile, it doesn't show all of your chats, but you're able to go back and see all of your chats.
And that's nice. So Thomas, will I facilitate the payment process through the chat, or will that will just be where I set up the delivery and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when a user buys something off Shopstr, by clicking on clicking on a product and then clicking on view and purchase, it'll bring them to a checkout page that generates a QR code for a Cashew invoice. And when the Cashew invoice is paid, it'll send the seller a Cashew token in the form of a message. So yeah, it's generating a lightning invoice. It's like a QR code. So once this is scanned, it'll send Carl here a cashew token worth 200 sats, which they can then redeem to their cashew wallet. But Christian is working on building a integrated wallet into Shopstr, and that way they don't have to go to a cashew wallet, and they can just withdraw it to their balance on Shopstr, and from Shopstr they can withdraw it to their Lightning wallet. And eventually there'll be like a way to extract that straight to the Lightning wallet if the seller so decides to. And yeah, so to answer your question, these chats are pretty essential to like facilitating sales. It's where you get the cashew token as well as talk about like delivery and shipping, etc. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think in your messages you had like a cashew token, so you can like show like an example of the message.
Yeah, sure.
And Christian, just for the people that are watching from home, they might not know what cashew is. Can you explain it to them just so they know?
Yeah, so basically, cashew is like it's an eCash system built on top of Bitcoin, and eCash it's basically from a man called Chauman, David Chaum, and he thought of this idea of like having an anonymous like system built on top of at the time the US dollar, so that you could like issue this currency like in a distributed manner very easily and anonymously. And so Callie, who is a developer in like the Bitcoin space, he actually created Cashew, which has really been like one of the best ways to like easily facilitate Lightning payments. So essentially, Cashew, whenever to get a Cashew token, you pay a Lightning invoice, and you get a token that's worth the equivalent amount of Satoshis, obviously excluding the fees. So you'll have like a Cashew token, like which is that string, the Cashew A, and with a bunch of characters on after it, and that'll actually contain a an actual valid amount of Satoshis that you can redeem to a Lightning wallet or within a Cashew wallet. And like the really great thing about it is that it has like essentially perfect privacy, and it can be received and sent offline. So like which is one of the things that's like really great about it. Because like obviously with Lightning, you need to always have like your node online in order to receive anything. And with Cashew, if you have the text, the little string, you could just like text it to someone, they could text it to another person, and so on and so forth. And as long as that token isn't redeemed for Lightning, that'll actually contain value, and you know it has value. Obviously, that set amount, and yeah, it's just very easy to like pass around and know that you're gonna be able to redeem that for some Satoshis in the future. And yeah, it's a very powerful and very simple way of like facilitating Lightning payments.
Awesome. Thomas, can you show us some more stuff?
Yeah, so I was just quickly showing you guys like what the process currently looks like. It's quite tedious right now because we don't have that integrated wallet. But essentially, once you get a sale, you'll get a message here in your DMs containing a cashew token. And in order to redeem it, you have to go to a cashew wallet like so. And as you can see, when pasting in the cashew token, it tells you that it's worth 11 sats and that you'd be able to receive it. So that's how the seller would get his money, and then from here he or she could coordinate with the buyer to receive that product.
Awesome.
Yeah. So moving on, we also implemented dark mode and light mode on high demand from our users. So there's also a way to select the relays that you want to connect to by clicking this globe, and to select your mint eventually for payments. And I think that pretty much wraps it up. Christian, am I missing anything?
No, yeah, I think that's basically like the gist of it for the moment. Yeah, and we're just working. Oh, you can show the metrics page actually.
Oh, the metrics page, right? Yeah. So
that's currently a work in progress, so that's why we don't have it as a dedicated place to go to, because like it's more of a proof of concept to actually building out metrics for merchants, so they'll be able to track their orders, their how much money they've made, and all and things of that sort.
And guys, when you were thinking through this, I'm sure y'all's background and experience has played a part in building Shopstr. Is there anything specific, especially I know you, Christian, if you're working at Amazon, aren't they all about metrics over there? Or?
Oh yeah, like definitely like all like just being able to like track and realize exactly what is influencing something, like how to like optimize certain payment flows, like what's keeping users on the site. Like it's a very important thing. And I think like obviously if we want to like scale up the business and actually make it something real and where we can attract users and actually like promote Bitcoin use, that's like the main goal. And like having all of these statistics and like to see like what exactly is working and what is allowing people to buy and sell things on this on Shopstr very easily. That's like obviously like in everyone's best interest, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible that you're taking that knowledge and applying it here in Shopstr. Yep. Thomas, is there anything that in your background that you've been able to apply here with Shopstr other than the coding and
I'd say like a bulk of it is definitely the coding, the stuff that I learned over my internships and my full-time job. I'm really just funneling all of that coding knowledge into building Shopstr as well as I can. It's funny that you mentioned metrics because as an ex-Amazonian, you're like spot on. They really care about metrics, like in everything they do. Like even if it's an internal team and they have some internal product, they care about like the number of errors like each Lambda function is having, and they review it like on a daily. So I think I was definitely like a big advocate for having metrics because it's the only way to see if they're actual users as well as like to track it over time. So yeah, I think that was also something that I sort of pushed for because of my experience professionally. So yeah.
Yeah, I see that time and time again, I think with founders and people that are building projects is I've done that here with my, with my own company. You just tend to, it's a weird spot to be in because it's not necessarily you don't know what to do. It's more like you rely on the things you do know what to do really, really well, and you just apply them in whatever you're building. So it's when we saw this today at the stand-up that we had, I was like, man, this is pretty sick, man. This is a game changer, I think. Metrics are always good. And I think you guys are definitely primed, no pun intended, to figure out this shopping experience for Bitcoiners and Nostr people. Sure. So yeah. Okay, so let's talk about just through Top Builder. What have you guys built through Top Builder? What have you learned? Is it hard? Do you expect to win? All those type of things.
Yeah, so I could take this if you don't mind, Christian.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so before joining Top Builder, I think we didn't expect to like have a lot of people on the app. So the way I implemented like caching, it wasn't actually very efficient. So one of the big things that we wanted to, or that we were aiming to work on is actually getting Shopstr as snappy as it used to be. And yeah, that's what we were doing for like the first milestone, and happy to say that it's working. Previously, like it would like open a new WebSocket to fetch the profile of like each event that was coming in from products, and this was just completely freezing the website, and it was borderline unusable. And I don't know how there were still people using the site then. Like we were looking at the metrics and there were still people using it, and I was like just completely shocked because when I was using it, I would have been like, oh, I'm out of here, right? But yeah, we were able to get that fixed the first week. And Christian, did we do anything else for like the first milestone?
Yeah, I think it was mainly performance optimizations and getting like just all of that. That's a lot of tech debt and stuff out of the way. Because yeah, like in the beginning, we were just like trying to build something that worked, and like we built something that worked. It just wasn't really performant or very good looking. It just like we knew you could pay for something, and it actually like went through, and that was like really what we were aiming for. And like now that like we see that people are actually like using it and want to actually list on here, like it just encourages us to keep building and like make things better for the users.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's come a long way. Yeah, I remember it being really slow and not having dark mode. I remember those things for sure. But I'm go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm incredibly bullish on y'all too. I've been from the beginning,
Oh,
so
thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we still remember when like the site looked, our site's color scheme actually used to be purple and yellow and like a bunch of random colors that like Christian put together, and I was like, oh god, what am I looking at? Like, so we had to like completely revamp that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if only we could go back to because we like actually launched the site at like a Replit hackathon and like demoed it in front of people. If only we could go back with our like our new look, like it'd be so nice to like so people could actually see how it is now rather than like it looked really bad. It looked gross.
Yeah. Look, this one. This was our
Oh yeah,
color
there you
scheme back then. This got us stoked. Like in October, we were just building it, and we got on this blog. Some blogger talked about it and showed off our really ugly login screen, and it was great, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it looks a little better. I think there's still a lot of iteration to go off. We're actually thinking about another design overhaul, especially for the products, because right now this is not exactly the best experience to buy and discover products. So yeah, that's definitely in the works.
Yeah, discovery is definitely one of the things that's like I feel like really important, especially for the merchants. Because now, especially after coming back from Phoenix for Nostr Phoenix, I gave a talk there, and there was a couple merchants who are actually interested in starting to list here and like solely on here. So like yeah, just building out that experience for people to list stuff and have it discovered and be able to sell it very quickly. That's like that's the end goal.
Yeah, I would
sure.
say yeah, for sure. Just keep listening to the users. Yeah, for sure. Just keep trying to please them, and then if you can just get one, then that person will talk to another one, and before you know it, you got a whole community of merchants and stuff like that. Yeah, and sellers. So great job, y'all. Great job. Like I said, I'm extremely excited to see where you all take this. I know that you guys are headed in the right direction, and I am looking to make my first listing. Hopefully, once you guys get some of these bugs kicked out, and
sounds good.
I'll throw some PlebLab merch on there and see if it sells.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cool. So anybody, if anybody's listening to this or watching this, Thomas, Christian, tell them what to do, how to find Shopstr. Tell them.
Yeah, the URL is shopstr.store. Pretty easy to remember. I was actually fighting with Christian on whether you could spend like 4K on a shopstr.com, and I was like, "Are you crazy? Like instead of doing that, we could spend like $15 on shopstr.store and spend the rest of the money doing something else, you know." But yeah, shopstr.store, really easy to remember.
Yeah, the price of shopstr.com is coming down, so eventually we might be able to migrate over.
See, yeah, you got to play the market sometimes. I don't know who wants shopstr.com, but yeah. Yeah, you could just come here. You could sign in, make a listing. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and if you ever have any feedback or just want to like report bugs or anything, you can just reach out to us. I'm Calvadev at shopstr.store on Nostr. Thomas is Tommy Satoshi at shopstr.store. And we have a Shopstr account on Nostr, which is a Shopstr at shopstr.store. So pretty easy to find us.
Yep.
I'm checking out that Agoria hat, dude. That looks sick, man.
Oh yeah.
Who threw that on there? That looks sick.
Some guy named Agoria.
Oh yeah. Gosh.
And I forget. Well, one other thing you can do with those, if you click on like a listing, you can click on the share button, and now you should be able to like link directly to a product, and you'll be able to like go directly to it and be able to message directly from there or check out if you're already signed in.
Yeah, or you could share over Nostr on your Nostr account. So yeah.
That's dope. Yep. I love it, guys. Keep up the great work. I mean, this is amazing. I can't wait to see it from a year from now. If y'all did this in like 30, 40 days, like imagine what this is going to look like a year from now. It's it's going to be so big. I was telling Max, I was like, yeah, dude, I don't think people realize just where these guys are skating to. Like, it's going to be massive a year from now, especially in a bull run, right? Like,
yeah, we're gonna shoot for the stars. We're gonna shoot for the star.
Awesome, I love it. Let's do it epic. Okay, cool. I'm gonna end it there, guys.